Let's settle a debate that's been messing with people's health for decades. Which one is worse, sugar or fat? You've heard both blamed for heart attacks, diabetes, brain fog, belly fat, and aging you didn't sign up for. First, fat was the villain. Then sugar took the spotlight. Now we're left confused, reading labels like they're hieroglyphics, trying to figure out what won't kill us by Tuesday. Here's the real answer. It's not just which is worse, it's which one is wrecking your body right now, especially if you're over 50. Because once you pass that age mark, your metabolism, insulin sensitivity, and ability to bounce back from mistakes are all running on a tighter clock. So let's break it down. No BS, no diet culture garbage. First up, fat. Back in the 1980s, fat was demonized like it had personally punched every cardiologist in the face. Suddenly, fat-free everything hit the shelves. And what happened? People got fatter, sicker, and more inflamed. Why? Because food companies swapped fat for sugar, and the low-fat craze became a silent epidemic. Not all fats are bad. In fact, some are essential. Your body literally can't function without fat. It makes up your brain, your hormones, your cell membranes, and it helps absorb critical vitamins like A, D, E, and K. Without fat, your body starts breaking down, not healing. That said, not all fats are saints either. Trans fats, the kind in margarine, processed pastries, and cheap fast food, those are industrial poisons. They're so bad they've been banned in many countries. They stiffen your arteries, raise bad cholesterol, and ignite systemic inflammation like lighter fluid on dry grass. Saturated fat? It's complicated. It's found in things like red meat and cheese. For some people, especially those with a genetic predisposition, saturated fat can raise LDL cholesterol. But new research is showing that the link between saturated fat and heart disease isn't as ironclad as we were told. Some people can handle it just fine, others can't. It depends on your genetics, your inflammation levels, and your overall metabolic health. Then we have unsaturated fats, the real MVPs. Think olive oil, nuts, seeds, fatty fish like salmon. These fats lower inflammation, protect your heart, support brain health, and actually help your body burn fat more efficiently. If you're over 50, these are your allies. They're not optional, they're foundational. Now, let's shift the lens and take a hard look at sugar. Sugar, especially the added kind, is a different beast. Your body treats added sugar like an emergency. It spikes your blood glucose. Your pancreas fires off insulin to shuttle that sugar into your cells. But if your glycogen tanks are already full, and they usually are, your body stores that sugar as fat, usually in the belly. Do that over and over again, and you don't just gain weight, you trigger insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is the gateway drug to type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and accelerated aging. And here's the part no one talks about. You don't have to be overweight for sugar to wreck you. In fact, sugar-induced damage happens internally before it ever shows up on your waistline. You could be skinny fat, normal weight, but inflamed, insulin resistant, and quietly heading toward a chronic disease diagnosis. Over time, sugar impacts almost every major system in the body. It stiffens arteries, feeds visceral fat, ramps up triglycerides, and tanks your HDL cholesterol, the good kind. And while fat's link to heart disease is still under debate, the data connecting high sugar intake to heart attacks and strokes is crystal clear. A study published in JAMA Internal Medicine tracked people for 15 years and found that those who consumed 17 to 21% of their calories from added sugar had a 38% higher risk of dying from heart disease, regardless of weight. That's not a soft maybe. That's a hard fact. And let's talk about your brain. Sugar doesn't just mess with your waistline and heart, it jacks up your brain chemistry too. When you eat sugar, dopamine hits like a slot machine payout. Your brain lights up, but over time, That pleasure response dulls. You need more sugar for the same hit, which leads to cravings, brain fog, and mood crashes. Some researchers are now calling Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes because of how sugar-driven insulin resistance affects the brain. Fat, by contrast, fuels your brain. The human brain is about 60% fat by dry weight. It needs omega-3s and other healthy fats to maintain cell membranes, transmit signals, and reduce neuroinflammation. People with high intakes of unsaturated fat, like those on the Mediterranean diet, show better memory, cognition, and emotional resilience. Sugar drains you. Fat sustains you. Now, let's talk weight, because most people over 50 are thinking about it, whether they admit it or not. Here's the lie. Fat makes you fat. Wrong. Sugar does. Yes, fat has more calories per gram, but fat doesn't spike insulin, and insulin is the real driver of fat storage. Sugar floods your system, causes that insulin surge, and slams the door on fat burning. Your body can't burn fat and store it at the same time. When insulin is high, fat loss stops, period. And what's more insidious? High sugar intake makes you hungrier because it disrupts leptin and ghrelin, your hunger and fullness hormones. So you're not just storing more fat, you're craving more food and worse food. And here's the kicker for anyone over 50. As you age, your insulin sensitivity tanks. That means the same amount of sugar that used to be a cheat meal at 30 becomes a metabolic grenade at 55. Your margin for error is gone. You don't get to mess around with frappuccinos and gummy bears without consequences. So how do you play this smart? First, stop fearing fat, but be selective. Embrace olive oil, avocados, nuts, and salmon. Don't fall for fat-free processed junk that's just sugar in disguise. If you eat meat, get it clean and unprocessed. Avoid anything that says hydrogenated. Next, hunt sugar like it's out to kill you, because it is. Check every label. Sugar hides behind names like dextrose, maltose, corn syrup, agave nectar, and evaporated cane juice. And don't forget your drinks. One bottle of soda has more sugar than your body needs in 3 days. Juice is no better. Smoothies can be a blood sugar roller coaster if they're fruit heavy with no fat or protein. Build your meals around real, whole food. Stuff that doesn't come in a box, bag, or plastic tub. If it had a mother, grew in the ground, or swam in the sea, you're on the right track. Here's the bottom line. Sugar is the more dangerous substance. Especially after 50, it's the one that quietly ages you from the inside out. It robs your energy, your mental clarity, your metabolic resilience, and your cardiovascular health. Fat, especially the good kind, does the opposite. It protects, fuels, and heals. The idea that they're equally bad is outdated. Sugar is the real saboteur. Fat is the misunderstood ally. So the next time someone tells you fat is the problem, ask them how many grams of sugar are in their low-fat yogurt. Then go eat some sardines and watch your triglycerides thank you. Thanks as always for tuning in. Take care of each other and be well.